welcome to Entrepreneur News. I'm your host, Alex J. Please make sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up on this video, and also leave a comment below because I'm really curious what you think about this whole thing. Through my research today, I found out that Google is actually under attack, and it seems to be in a way that a lot of people seem to have missed. Now, this is going to kind of sound like a conspiracy theory, but I really want you to walk through this journey with me because it really does seem crazy. Okay, so recently a video appeared online. There was a game that appeared on the Google Play Store, and this game was designed for children. It looked like a children's game. However, on closer inspection, when you actually played this game, it played this horrifying voice where it was telling the children that it was going to kill them, it was going to stab them, which is obviously not something that you want your children playing. And a woman discovered this, and she videoed it, she uploaded it, and she said, hey, look, I really want everyone to be aware of this. This is something really scary. Now, I genuinely believe her story. I know that this app was on the Play Store. I know a lot of people had downloaded it, and Google were very quick to remove that from the store. Now, obviously, I completely believe her story, and I believe that that was a real app, and a lot of people had actually gone through that. And I think she very innocently stumbled upon it, and her child had downloaded it and obviously played with it. However, I do want to question the motives behind the person behind it. Even the woman in the video, she was saying, why on earth would this be on the Play Store? And I'll show you this video right now.
Okay, I really think it's important that I get this out there. So my daughter was downloading apps this morning, and she downloads like things like Peppa Pig, Blaze and the Monster Machine, stuff like that, like all those kind of Ben and Holly. You guys as parents need to be monitoring what they're watching and what they're downloading, because I've really learnt my lesson from this. I was in the other room, I heard this demonic voice, and I'm like, what on earth is my daughter watching? That sounds really evil. So I've gone flying into the other room, and I've heard something suggesting that it was going to stab my daughter. And this is no joke. I promise you, it's no joke. This is the app. So we wait. Hang on, it's got a ton of apps. Not apps, ads, sorry. Here's the call. So we're going to answer. And then we've got another ad.
Hi kids, I'm your new friend. Happy, slappy, whatever you want me to be called. You see, I want to play with you, kiddo. Maybe we could perform some fun games together. What's this, hogwash? You look afraid. Is it this knife in my whirly-turly hands? Making you a little nervous, huh? That's all right, 'cause this knife is gonna improve your look when it's sticking right out of you.
I am absolutely horrified, disgusted. Everybody needs to get onto the Play Store. Please email them over this app. I'll upload a screenshot of what the app is as well. I can't believe that in this day and age people would actually do this. Like, what are they trying to achieve?
So as you saw, it's a really scary video. It's very creepy that this was going on. But the better question is, why would someone make this? What possible motivation could someone have behind this? Now, it really puzzled me for a while because I kept thinking, well, maybe it's just for reactions. That could be one reason it was created, or it could be something a little bit more extreme. Because as I thought about it more and more, I realized that this isn't the first time that Google had been targeted something to do with children. Now, there was other apps that were discovered a little bit before this, where the apps were found that they were designed again for children, and when they would play the game, porn would appear. Now again, this seems very strange. Why on earth would someone want to make that for children, to have porn appear like that? It just doesn't seem right. What kind of mindset have you got to be in to be creating something like that? Like, how disturbed have you got to be creating something like that? Then it goes one step further, and there was also apps that were hitting on the Play Store, and these were being created to hack people's social media accounts and hack people's Ethereum wallet. There were so many different apps that have been created to hack and steal and all this kind of thing. And again, I was thinking, some of them do seem to be, individual cases where, someone's just trying to take money. But then there's other more malicious ones where, again, it doesn't really make sense to why someone would create that kind of malware. So then it got me thinking. I was like, what if there's a connection behind it all? What if there is the same group of people that are creating these apps, they were also making the videos. Now, if you don't already know, there was videos being made previously that were being published on YouTube, and again, they were targeting children, and they were also containing disturbing images. These videos, they were having children cut their fingers off and telling them all these disturbing things, and weird, gross sexual things were happening inside these videos. And again, it just seemed really creepy and really weird. And every single time this has happened, there's only one correlation. Each time it happens, advertisers are told, stop advertising with them. And then they're also being bullied politically, and it's also in the newspapers where they're being told, they need more regulation, they need more regulation, they need more regulation. Now, this is where I started getting a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, and I started thinking, well, what if this is all being done by people who want regulations done on Google? Because that to me seems more of a logical step than it's just a random person trolling. That to me doesn't make as much sense as, someone is actually being paid to do this for a political reason. So I started, jumping deep and seeing what political motivations there would be. So then I also discovered that Google employees were being attacked. Now, I was really shocked when I hear this, and this is only recently this has been happening. But again, I never heard about this in the newspaper. I'm sure, I don't know if you heard about it, but I definitely didn't. But employees were being attacked. So they get a shuttle bus from their home to work. During their travels, they were being attacked. Someone was targeting their coaches. They were shooting the windows out, like literally shooting the windows, smashing the windows in. And it got so bad that they even had to reroute the route that they were taking. But Google's also had the same thing, and they both had their shuttles attacked. And again, both of them are being told by the governments that they need to be regulated. They need to be regulated. And this is something that just kept coming back and back again. Every single time they're talking about regulations. So it got me thinking, what about if all of this was to do with regulations? What if everything was being done in a malicious attempt to try and force these companies to comply to the regulations? Now, obviously, just for this video, I'm only going to be focusing on Google because obviously it's a big can of worms, but I was wondering, what if this is a political war that's been going on? But I really want to tell you this story of what happened with one of the shuttle buses. So let me read this. Around 4 years ago, people started attacking the shuttle buses that took employees to and from work as a way of protesting the tech company-driven gentrification taking place around San Francisco. Well, it seems to be happening again. This time, it's not just Google, it's Apple's charter buses too. At least 5 of the iPhone maker's shuttle buses have recently had their windows smashed while in transit. According to an email sent to Apple staff, the first attack took place last Friday, followed by 4 more on Tuesday. It's suspected that someone is shooting out the windows using pellet guns or perhaps throwing rocks. The attacks took place on the Highway 280, so Apple is diverting its buses from the road, even though doing so will add 30 to 45 minutes to the commute on either direction. So this is something that's been happening. Both of them are having to reroute their buses to make sure that they're not getting attacked. And again, it seems very conveniently timed that this is also going on at the same time of all of these hacks and everything that are going on with all these children, things that are going on. It all seems to be coming at this really convenient time when the governments are talking about, we need to be taking more control. You guys need to back off and let us help you. We need to regulate you. Now, Google did actually launch a new security firm, and this security firm is called Moonshot. It's made by Google's Alphabet, and they actually make most of their money from Google's advertising. So it's a very clear correlation that they've created a security firm in order to secure themselves against these kind of attacks, which makes sense. They also came out as well saying that artificial intelligence is better at finding these problems rather than human, which would also get rid of a reason for the governments to get involved, because obviously the government would come in and say, we can do it as human beings, we'll help you monitor, we'll help you govern. I think that's the agenda, that's the angle that they're going with. However, Google's saying, artificial intelligence is better at doing it than humans, and which would obviously get rid of it. It just pushes back the government. So I think that's the reason that Google have come out with this. Now, there's a guy called Davos from Switzerland. He's the finance and philanthropist. Google Saros joined the rising attack on Facebook and Google Thursday night, calling for more stringent regulations on the tech giants. And he goes on and he basically says, I think it's a monopoly. They need to be broken down. We need to regulate them. Then I found out that Alphabet has also spent 18 million this year on lobbying, which means they're fighting. They're trying to create laws to protect themselves. Obviously, they don't want to be regulated. They're trying really hard to get away from being regulated. At the same time, over in the UK, they're also pushing for regulations. They're saying, hey, we need to regulate you. We need to control you. Theresa May over in the UK is also talking about breaking down Facebook and Google and regulate. Then you've also got Steve Bannon, who's also saying that Facebook is a monopoly and they need to be broken and they need to be regulated. So it kind of seems convenient that all of these people are coming forward and saying, you know, we need to regulate, we need to regulate. So it all kind of comes at the exact same time, where all of a sudden these apps are appearing, targeting children. You've got all these apps targeting children. Then you've got these videos that are targeting children. And then you've got these video games that are targeting children. And all of them are linked to Google. But it's strange that they all come about at the same time, that there's a political agenda and everyone is trying to then push for regulations. And it seems like a very good storyline where you can say, you know, children are seeing this, children are being harmed. And children are usually used in political motivations anyway. So if you ever look, whenever there's attack on certain countries that our country wants to invade, they would usually say, you know, children were hurt, the poor children, think about the children are starving. What about this? What about that? But they always put it back to the children. And I find it very convenient. All of these stories happen to go around what's happening with the children. So at the exact same time, I'm trying to push for regulation. There was a guy called Alex Bezel that was arrested in the UK. He had 9,000 zombie computers, which would mean he'd basically taken over these computers and he was using them to do DOS attacks. And a DOS attack is a denial of service attack. It basically brings the site offline. He was in trouble because he was targeting YouTube, he was targeting Google, he was targeting Facebook. Very strange that those are the companies that were being targeted. Again, with all this political stuff that is going on, it all kind of matches up. So again, from my personal opinion, I believe that there's something going on that's not being released to the public. I feel that there is like a secret war going on between Google and a mysterious entity. I'd love to hear what you guys think. What do you think? Do you think that it's all just a coincidence? Do you think that there's nothing really going on? Do you think it's just, you know, I've managed to just connect the dots conveniently of something, and you think they're all just separate cases? I'd really love to hear what you think. Do you think that Google should be broken down? Do you think it is a monopoly? Do you think it should be regulated by countries and governments? I mean, Google were fined 2.7 billion in Europe over regulations about the way that they were manipulating their search. So again, I'd really love to hear from you. What do you guys think? Do you think that I'm just reaching for straws? Do you think I'm actually onto something? I'd really want to hear from you. And please make sure also to subscribe to keep up with all the entrepreneur news. Make sure to also turn that notification on so that you can keep up with all the latest news immediately when it comes out. And please make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video. I really would appreciate it. I'll speak to you guys again soon, but in the meantime, peace.